Hi everyone. We are getting ready to go live here in just a few minutes. So I am going to wait for my dear friend Laura to join us so we can talk about apraxia. It's going to be a fun night. We have a really fun topic to discuss. So hello Anne, thanks for joining. Hope you have all had a good day. It's been just kind of a crazy week here at our house, but it's all good. It's all good. Hi, Katie. Welcome. Thanks for joining. See if we can get Laura on here so I can add her. Hello, Tessa. Thanks for joining. Are you guys return viewers or is this your first night? There's Teresa. Welcome, Teresa. Katie. This is awesome. We got a few people on. Hello, everyone. Just waiting for Laura. There's Kim. Hello, Kim. All right. Getting some people. I just need Laura. Gabby is with us. Ashley is returning. Ashley Melvin, thank you for being with us. You know, there's Teresa, another Teresa. Welcome. This is just my favorite thing of the whole week. I don't even know. I know you guys probably think, hi, Megan, thanks for coming back. Probably think I just say that, but I literally love this more than anything. Lauren is watching. Is it Shaylin? Is returning, so you are a repeat viewer. And Tessa says she never misses it. Well, isn't that fabulous? Sherry is returning as well. Excellent. Anna Smith, hello. Thank you for joining us. And Amy. Where is Laura? We really need Laura so we can get this party started. Laura, are you here yet? Let me just see if I missed her somewhere. Laura. Nope, don't see Laura yet. So we're just going to keep chatting until our dear friend Laura, we were just texting, so I know she's like in the process. So there's Jenny. She says, thank you for your constant and positive encouragement. You know, I try to be very positive. I don't know. I don't know. I just think it's a really important thing to stay positive, returning, but this is the first time I've managed to catch the very beginning. Well, do you see how the very beginning is? There's a lot of sitting around and waiting, and hopefully you all have something tasty. First time anyone has said it right the first try. I said Shaylin right. I bet a lot of people say Shaylin. Is that right? I don't know. I just saw the L-Y-N-N. I was like, that's Lynn, Shaylin. I am so excited. I said somebody's name right. Hi, Carrie from Carrie. I'm returning, enjoying all the information you and Laura are sharing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it's so fun. So fun. So I did my first ever, still don't see Laura, did my first ever parent webinar on apraxia. Did it on Tuesday night and it was crazy good. It was phenomenal and I've had such amazing feedback. I have another session scheduled for Sunday. Amy is joining us from Indianapolis. Jennifer is here. Ellie is here on the right night. Yes, Ellie tried to join us last night and I think she's the one who messaged me and said, where are you guys? And then she's like, oh wait, it's only Wednesday. So there's my good friend Laura. Let's see if I can get Laura added in here. Laura, SLP mommy. I added you, Laura. Bring SLP mommy. Anyways, I did a parent webinar on apraxia and there were grandparents present. It was a meeting, so I got to see everybody. Oh, Anna said she loved the training. Excellent. It was just so fun. I know I gave way too much information because I have a tendency to do that. And so when I do the one on Sunday, I'm going to cut a few things out and try to make it a little shorter. It was supposed to be an hour-long webinar and we did, it was 2 hours. So anyways, hey, Laura.
Hi.
You know what I need. I wonder if no, I don't. I'm good. We're using the phone. Are you on your phone?
I am.
So we've got this figured out. I mean,
I think so.
Knock on wood, virtually no major issues since we started using our little cellular devices. So it's all good. How are you?
All good. Good. I'm going to turn you up a little bit. Hold on.
Oh, I could do that too. So you had a busy day doing evaluations and everything?
I had 2 evaluations. Which is crazy, and they were both confirmed for apraxia. One was an intern. It was a referral from an intern I used to have, and she works in the schools now. So I was like so proud. I was like, you were right. So like, good job. And she was like, oh, phew. Like it was like all this pressure. She joined the call and joined the evaluation from school.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Well, that's good. That's good. Can you guys hear me and Laura okay? Give us a thumbs up if you can hear us okay. I just like to make sure that the technology is working the way we think it should.
I'm gonna go to your page. Let's
Webinar,
see.
and we
Oh,
did,
sorry, you're gonna get feedback for a minute. Hold on.
So, okay.
Okay. There we go. I want to share. This way I can pull up the comments and see them.
Excellent. And there's Maureen. Hello. Thanks for joining us. And
Okay.
Sherry, I know that name quite well.
So you were just saying that your hour parent webinar went 2 hours? Is that what I heard when I hopped on?
It did, because there were so many questions and I just couldn't stop them. I didn't even get to them all. You know what? I limited the class to 50 families because I knew there'd be, every family probably has at least one question. And I was like, I can't handle 50 questions. So I thought, well, because I think I could have easily had 100 parents, you know, I mean, it filled up so fast. So, you know, one thing, Laura, I'm thinking, what I think I'm going to take out of the second parent webinar I do on Sunday is the questions to ask when you interview an SLP, because I really wanted this just to be an overview of what apraxia is, you know. So I was wondering if maybe we could do that sometime as a topic.
Yeah.
Here, you know, like just really talk about, because I think you did a blog once or something, like the 10 questions or something to ask SLPs.
Yes.
And I had 14 questions, I think, just because I'm always thinking like, oh, we need to ask this. Oh, we need to ask this. So I think between us, we could come up with a pretty, you know, complete list. So let's think about that sometime as maybe a possible topic.
Yeah, I love that topic. Jordan from Fighting for My Voice says that is the most commonly sent article he gives his following. He finally had to bookmark it because he kept texting me and asking me for it. He's like, I swear this is the last time I'm going to bookmark it. I promise.
Oh, that's precious. That's precious. Yeah. The one thing that as I was writing out my questions for the training, I was like, okay, I started them with like, yes, no, like, do you consider yourself an apraxia specialist? And I was like, you know what? That's too easy of an out. And so I switched them all to being open-ended questions. So that, you know, because when you ask yes, no, I feel like they can just say yes. And then it's really hard for parents to know how to follow up. So anyways, let's make that a training soon, or not a training, I guess, a topic for Uncorked maybe, or something sometime.
Yeah. Well, I have an interesting story about that. I had a parent who was on my Instagram. And so I sent her that article, and because she was trying to decide between 3 people in the area, she called all 3 and said, do you treat apraxia? And all 3 say yes. And so she was like, okay. So she was asking them these questions that I had written. And she said, as like the questions just, you know, became more and more and more down the list, and the person didn't know how to answer them, the person themselves, a speech language pathologist who just said, oh yeah, I treat apraxia and know how to treat it, by the end of those questions had to admit herself, like, well, you know, I actually don't like specialize in it. I've had one kid with it, like, and I was like, then we need to stop saying you treat it. Like, you literally have the lives of their potential ability to talk as an adult in your hands. And you're just like, yeah, I treat everything. Go ahead, bring them in.
Sure. No, my favorite is I had a parent say, she called an SLP, and one of my questions is, are you a pediatric SLP?
Because I like that one. I don't have that one.
And the way I created the answers was acceptable answers, unacceptable answers. And so for are you a pediatric SLP, which is a yes, no question, and I think it's the only yes, no one I kept on there, but the only acceptable answer is yes. So if an SLP says, well, I work with adults sometimes, and then sometimes I see kids on the side, you know, I really like kids. No, I mean, you have to, you know, so anyways, it'll be a fun topic. So
yeah, I like it.
Before we get started, can I share? I got my new cards from the printer today.
Yes,
can I share?
I
got my animal verbs. And a couple days ago, or maybe it was yesterday, I don't even know now, I posted some research about why verbs are so important, because verbs appear to be more challenging for new language learners to learn. And so nouns seem to come easier, and the verbs are often way behind, both receptively and expressively. And it was so fascinating. In this research article, it said verb use at age 2. So of course, we're not talking about children with CAS at this point. We're just talking about, you know, language development.
but verb use at age 2 was most predictive of how good their grammar was at age 3. So I was like, isn't it fascinating? So anyways, these are my new animal verbs. And so they are designed to obviously teach action words, but we can do it at the single word level. And then I created a second language level so that it's at the phrase level. So blow, or the pig is blowing. So it adds the ing. Brush, the alligator is brushing. So aren't they just the cutest things you've ever seen? My illustrator she works for Hallmark Cards, and I just can't even get over. Anyway, so they are now available, and I'm super excited and so proud. So another set of visual cue cards available.
Well, and you know what I love about that too is once I get kids being able to do consonant vowel, so CV words like mommy, daddy, hippo, purple, you know, things like that, I move them right away into the present progressive verb form.
Yes.
So eating, jumping, hopping, because it's the same syllable structure, but it gives us verbs, and it opens up our ability to expand our mean length of utterance, and yeah, I mean, really to give them more options on communicating. So those cards are fabulous.
Excellent. Laura, I'm going to send you a deck, okay?
Yeah, well, I will use it, and I will promote it, because that is fantastic.
Send it to you. So I'm not, somewhere, I think, I don't know, sometime, like not on here, but sometime you need to text me your address, okay? Because I don't know that I have your actual mailing address.
Thank
so
you.
I'm going to send you some animal verbs, because that's going to be for kids who have, obviously, they're not for the minimally verbal kiddos, you know, like
no. Yeah.
But what I really wanted to do was start creating some visual cue cards for the kids who are a little more verbal, you know, where they're getting there. So anyways, I'm super, super proud of them. Super excited.
That's so cool, Carrie.
Yeah. And you know what I love, and not, I know we need to get started, but we use a local printer. I just went and found this little tiny printer, a mom and pop shop, and they had never made cards before. And it was just so neat, because now we keep them so busy. She said, we have never had business like this, because almost every month, you know, we have a new project.
Supporting a local business.
Seriously. And in COVID times, I'm like, I'm this big proponent of shop local.
Yeah.
You know, go to your local restaurants, not your chain restaurants. Yeah. So I've been trying so hard during COVID to eat out at restaurants where, you know, it's mom and pop instead of like going to Applebee's or whatever. So I was really eager. I'm sure I could have got them cheaper if I would have printed them overseas or something like that. But I'm like, I am not doing it. I am going to get them printed here in the States and right here in Kansas City. So it's been a really fun experience. Yeah. Okay, so Laura, tonight our topic is
repetitive books, and not even repetitive really, but how to use books in speech therapy for apraxia, which repetitive books I tend to like, but that is our topic.
Absolutely. Laura, did you get the handout? I literally just finished it like 10 minutes ago.
I did not.
Okay. If you can check your email, not that we need to go off of it, but guys, if you're new, I think I've been doing it lately, but I try to create a free handout. It's not even on my website yet, because this has been a crazy day picking up the cards and everything. I literally just finished it. This will be on my website sometime tonight, so check. You can't get it right now. I'm sorry, I just didn't have time. But it has a list of, Laura sent me some of her favorite books, and I know a lot of ours overlap, and then I just put as many as I could possibly fit on the page. So we probably, well, I know for certain we won't get to talk about all of these, but I think it's going to be fun, because I tend to gravitate toward books to support minimally verbal, very young children who maybe are just at the sound effect level, whereas Laura tends to, most of the time, I think, work with kids who are more verbal and are maybe putting, you know, more words together, or at least attempting to. So I think you guys are going to get a nice mix of helpful, you know, beneficial books. So Laura, I'm going to let you start. You get to take the honors. What's your first book you want to share with us tonight?
Ooh, okay. Well, I have so many. Like, this was so hard, you guys, but I would say if you are a person and you show up in my clinic, the first thing I'm going to read you is a book that has music with it, because kids respond well to things that are fun. Lots of parents will even tell me, oh, my kid doesn't like books. And I'm like, I can make them like books. Trust me. And, you know, you do have to be somewhat of an animated narrator, you know? So, I mean, certainly always, even just to record yourself and be like, how do I sound when I'm reading this book? And so my husband just told me the other day that I've definitely mastered the dog and pony show on telehealth, and he can't work from home anymore because it's a nightmare for him.
I love it. I love it.
So usually what I'm going to grab is a Pete the Cat book. Lots of people are, or someone just said, you know, love Eric Litwin. Eric Litwin is amazing. We actually saw him in concert, which was super fun, before COVID. And so these are like my two favorites of his. So we have Pete the Cat, I Love My White Shoes, and Pete the Cat, Groovy Buttons. These work so well because it repeats like the phrase every kid. I feel like I can get, like, you know, he's so dramatic in his book, you know, Pete steps in strawberries, and then it's like, oh no, you know. So it's just like, I might modify this if I have a kid at vowels and just be like, uh-oh. It depends on where they're at. And then, you know, and it repeats, did Pete cry? Goodness, no. And the more kids get to know the book read, the more I can use the pause technique with it. So then I'll be like, did Pete cry? Goodness. And wait and see if they can come up with no. And frequently, even if they're nonverbal, like I have a little guy who has severe motor planning, but he can make his finger do this and he can make his head do this, and every once in a while we'll get a nah, like come out of his mouth. So super fun. I love it. I absolutely sing it. Like if you read this book as a speech therapist, kids don't care about your voice, sing. It's fun, you know. So I love my red shoes. If I have a kid like Ashlyn, I tell this story all the time. She's super atypical, typical apraxia though. Could say an SH before she could say mom. So she could say shoe, shoe, where ya shoe. Just like that before she'd ever say mom. So you can use the, you know, pause technique with this. I love my red shoes. I love my red. And wait and just see. And if they can't do that, I do the sign for it. I love my red shoes. I love my red. And then you might try and do a sign cue to get it out. So anyways, super fun. I could take you through the whole book. I feel like I could do a whole therapy session right now, but I'll try and rein it in.
I know. You know, what I would love to do, Laura, and I know other people probably do this, but I would love to just read books, like make YouTube videos and have kids just watch us read, because I feel like it is a real art to be able to embed all of our strategies, you know, into
it is.
book, and, you know, just our facial expressions and where we hold the book.
Yes.
One thing I want to tell you, Laura said something really fascinating. She said, sometimes parents will say, my child doesn't like books, or my child doesn't like to be read to. On my website, where you go down, scroll down halfway, and it says free downloads, which is where this will be after tonight. Scroll down quite a ways. I have an awesome handout, and it is strategies for kids who don't like to be read to. So I actually have the strategies Laura and I use when somebody says he doesn't like books, and Laura said, oh, I can get him to like books. It's because we use these very specific strategies. So parents, if, you know, grandparents, SLPs, if you have kids who are resistive to being read to, make sure you download that, because those are strategies you can implement right away. Okay.
Yeah. And what you've said before that's so powerful is that a lot of times people just perceive us as reading a book. And again, the book, the toy, the whatever I'm using is just a conduit, like for the targets that I'm choosing to focus on and the strategies that we're using related to apraxia. So there's nothing magical about the I haven't even had a drink yet. A sip yet. There's nothing magical about the Pete the Cat book. The magic is in how it's read, how you use the strategies, and everything else related to that. So, I mean, yes, and Pete the Cat book is amazing, but really it is in the strategies and how you're reading it.
That's right. That's right. And what I love so much about reading with our animated, you know, using animated sound effects and just really interesting facial features, or, you know, like facial movements and things, exclamations. I love that we're building in like prosody, you know, depending on how we draw the vowels out, and, you know, just our expressions. And so we work on pragmatic language, you know, and I really appreciate it. So, okay, I don't even know where to start.
Okay, your turn. I know, it's so hard.
I have so many. Okay, so I have to start with, because I work primarily with toddlers, and this is, I always say, if I can only have one book on the planet to teach a young child with apraxia to talk, I want Where's Spot. Now, this is what's crazy, okay, is I don't even read the words on the page. There are very few books in which I actually read the words on the page. Wait till I show you. I mean, there are some where
you modify theme.
I literally don't even know what the story is, okay? So let me show you, and I'll just do a couple pages, because like Laura said, I can do a whole therapy session right here. But what I love so much about Where's Spot is that it is a book filled with flaps. And in my world, flaps are doors, and doors are meant to be knocked on. So what I love so much is it allows me to bring in this gross motor action, this nonverbal imitation for my pre-verbal or minimally verbal kiddos who don't have verbal imitation skills yet. So it allows them to participate. So the other thing is I have my silly sounds cards, which I do a lot of posts about how I pair. So like I use my knock knock silly sound card when I'm doing this. So this is how I would read the book. I'd say, knock, 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 knock. Oh, boo. That's all I do is knock, 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 knock.
I love it.
Boo, right? So we turn the page, knock, 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 knock. Boo. And so for some kids, I can go ahead and make the sound effect, you know, the for the snake or the roar for the bear. But for my young kiddos who are just getting started, literally, it is just knock, 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 knock. And every page, but I have to show you my favorite page. Extra credit. Does anybody know who hides under the bed in where spot? Let me see. Does anybody know? I'm going to wait. Somebody knows who hides under the bed. I'm going to drink wine till somebody tells me.
I'm watching the comments. I'm going to it right now.
Nobody?
Alligator?
The alligator. Katie got it. All right.
Go.
So this is my favorite page because we go knock, 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 knock. Right? We lift it up. Boo! And what I love so much is his mouth is open. And this is where I go, ow!
Yeah.
Did you bite your finger? And I usually scare the crap out of the kid the first time I do it. But what I want him to figure out is it's a game. You know, we're having fun. And I'll say, oh, let's see. Does he bite mama? And maybe I'll get mama to go, oh, ow! What I love so much about ow is that it is a vowel. It's a complex vowel.
Yeah.
It's called a diphthong. And so, and it's one of my silly sounds cards. This book is what made me want to make the silly sounds cards.
Oh,
to be honest with you.
fun. I didn't
wanted
know
a
that.
card. I wanted a card. So when I do my silly sounds cards, I always go, ow, just like I do in the book. I am telling you, I can spend a half hour just on this book with a minimally verbal or pre-verbal child. So
That's so
it's the
cute.
knock, knock, knock. And just so you know, then from this book, what I love to do then is to incorporate some play-based movement is we start, you know, moving around the room or the house or the therapy room and knocking on doors, like literally knocking, knock, 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 knock. And that's how, again, I can build in some of that nonverbal imitation. So this is my absolute favorite book of all times to help children really start to become communication risk takers, be willing because they're so excited about it that they really want to participate. So where's Spot?
Yeah, that's super fun. All right, I guess I'm up. Let me see here.
Hey, while you're thinking, I want to tell everybody something. On this handout, I actually have a website. I have Laura and my website on there, but I also have my Amazon store because all these books are linked in my Amazon store. So I know some of you messaged me and said, I'm going to go broke tonight watching this. But instead of like trying to write them all down since you don't have this yet, just wait till you get this. And then if you just want to go to my Amazon store, I mean, you don't have to. I mean, you can certainly buy them now if you want to, but they're all linked under repetitive, you know, books for repetitive speech practice or something like that. So anyways, I just wanted you to know that. Okay, Laura, what's your next choice?
Okay, so I'm going to tell you that, you know, as most of you know, I'm a parent with a child who has childhood apraxia of speech. And I literally had to teach her how to say no. She did not say no. She tantrumed you know, when she was, you know, refusing something. And so to teach her the word no, I had this awesome book by Sandra Boynton, and it's called Are You a Cow? And she loved this book. We read this book, and it's naturally built in to have the pause technique. So it just goes through, and it's funny, and it's silly, and they love it. And, you know, it says, hey, I'm a chicken. Yes, it's true. Tell me, what are you? Are you a cow? And they'll be like, no. You know, and you'll turn the page. Are you a dog? No. And you give them as much help or scaffolding as they need to be able to say no, eventually trying to pull the cues so that they are just eventually answering your question as no. So yeah, it just goes through. She loved it. It's like literally that simple. Again, though, you want to be reading it in a super animated way. I will also tell you that since I do both young children, not as much as Carrie does, but you know, like older children, that if I have a child with let's say you're a parent that comes to me and says, my kid doesn't like books. I'm not going to pick a book that's going to take me 7 minutes to read. I'm going to pick a book that takes me 1. I can get through this book likely in 1 minute, and I'm going to be really fast, and I'm going to be really animated. And that's how we get them a way that I find I can get them interested into a book. Because really books just promote, I think the reason I became a lover of books and speech therapy has to do with my mentor that I had when I worked in the schools, and everything, you know, like she just made the case for everything is literacy. There's 5 components of literacy. If we start having them love books early, we set them up for success with literacy, especially since our kids with speech sound disorders are at risk for dyslexia. So as much as we can do early on to promote just a love of reading, a love of books, like that's, I think, why I'm so invested in teaching and doing therapy this way.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep.
So Are You a Cow? Super fun.
So just to piggyback off that, then, all the books by Leslie
Love
Patricelli,
them.
I mean, you literally need every one of them. So this is the book I primarily use for teaching yes and no, and it couldn't be funnier. I mean, so the baby dumps his food on his head. No. And for kids who maybe have a little more language, you can be no, baby.
Yeah,
you know,
I love
starting
it.
to string words together. Yes. You know, the baby's drawing on the wall. No, baby. And the baby's drawing on paper. Yes. So that's another one. And since we're on Leslie Patricelli, I know, Laura, you had said, you know, Yummy Yucky is one of your favorites. Do you have it right there as well?
Got it right here.
So I thought we could just talk about this one. I mean, this is just great because even if the child can't say yummy, you can do for, like, you know how when we do yummy, something's yummy. But I have to show you my absolute favorite. Well, I mean, this is a funny one. Spaghetti is yummy. Worms are yucky. Ew, yuck. So this is my silly sounds card for yuck.
Yeah, that's great.
But my absolute favorite page, it cracks me up for some reason. I don't even know why. I mean, they're all funny. But where's the sandwich? The sandwich makes me just laugh so hard. Oh, the boogers. Yeah, the boogers is funny. Oh, they're all funny.
Yucky.
Where did it go? Why didn't I find it? Okay, so there's one that says sandwiches are yummy. Sand is yucky. You know,
yes.
I mean, this is so silly. Oh, there it is. Sandwiches are yummy. Sand is yucky. Ew, bleh. You know, so you can, again, be really overly animated. And then I just have to, I think I have every one.
Wait, don't move on yet. Let me talk about Yummy Yucky for a minute.
Yes, tell us what you do with it.
Okay, so like with me, what I like to do with it is I might not ever read the words. I'll be like, oh my gosh, should he eat? Like spaghetti? Yeah, let's tell him eat. And like Carrie said, you can expand to eat, baby, or or yummy. And then on this page, you know, he's eating worms. And so I might be like, oh no, do we eat worms? No. So we were just talking about working on yes, no. I can work on yes, no in this book just by doing that. I can work on eat. I might modify it to just be like eat or no eat, don't eat, like trying to get some sort of combination. Like she said, no baby. And then I'll tell you what my funniest page was in therapy is on the back, there's this page where it talks about all the things that you can eat. So when I get a page like this, especially with my older kids, I'm going to expand it to a carrier phrase and be like, what do you want? Or what do you see? And then we have to say like, I see, or I want, or I like, blah, blah, blah. But on this page, this one kid, it still makes me laugh. He was with his dad and he looked at his dad and he was like, why is there a butt on the page?
I love
and
it.
It's supposed to be a peach, but
Yeah.
I will always remember that probably every time I read this book.
I love it. You know, and maybe I've told this story. I just can't remember who I told this to. I don't even know. Oh, I think I told it to Mikey. I don't know if Mikey is on here tonight, but he had messaged me about something. I don't even know. And I think we were talking, but you had mentioned, Laura, about it's really how you read the book, you know, with the animation and being interesting. And you have to, because we have a lot of competition. There's a lot of distractions in today's digital world. We have to compete with iPads and smartphones. So you have to become the most interesting thing in the room. And I remember years ago, a dad was home during my home visit with his little boy named Colton. And we are being overly animated. Well, I'm being overly animated as I'm reading this book. And he finally looked at me and he goes, hey, Carrie, I have a question for you. And I'm like, oh, yeah, parent participation. Like, I'm all excited. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, are you, like, embarrassed to do your job? And I was like, I mean, I was so taken aback
Oh my gosh.
And my response was actually very true. I said, I probably used to be, but not anymore because this is effective, and so, and I had another mom say to me, Miss Carrie, I just don't think I can talk like you. I don't think I can read a book like you. And I said, oh, well, I know you can't yet because I haven't coached you on the strategies.
Yeah.
So if you're a parent and if you're sitting there going, I've never read a book like this in my life, like that is not how I read books to my kids. Don't think like, oh gosh, I've been doing it wrong or whatever. I mean, somebody has to coach you on these strategies. And that's what Laura and that's why we were so excited to do this tonight. So
yeah, totally.
The other Leslie Patricelli book I love, and this is for prosody. I mean, what I love so much about this is quiet loud, because you can say, whispering is quiet, screaming is loud, pans are quiet, pots and pans are loud. And so you can really alternate between quiet and loud. I mean, so sometimes I'd love to just do a post on social media on books that I use just for prosody.
Yeah.
So this is one of those. So anyways, you really want all the Leslie Patricelli books.
They're so good.
You will use them in multiple ways, like Laura said. And again, we don't typically read the words on the page necessarily.
Not necessarily.
And what I love so much is books like this, it doesn't matter where you start. It's not a story. So if you have a young child walk up and like this page, then start with that page. Sometimes this is why kids don't like to be read to. Parents are like, okay, come sit down on the couch.
Right.
Sit down. Okay, let mommy turn the page.
Right. They love turning the page. And
Right,
especially board books like these ones. I mean, if they go through it like this, like, hey, if that's all we got that session and that got them interested in a book, it took 10 seconds, but they were interested and had fun turning the page, cool. Now we'll move on to something else. And then I'll introduce it next time again.
Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right, you don't have the potty one. People are saying that I don't have it either. Well, I don't have a lot of my books here. Well, do you have the potty one? I knew she would, you guys.
I mean, I don't have them all. I feel like I have a lot, but do I have the potty? Maybe I don't. Oh, I know I do. It must not be here. Look at the fun. This is the newest one I got. Toot.
Oh, fun. I haven't seen that either.
It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Toot, toot, toot. And when mommy toots quiet. I toot on my trike. I toot in my suit. I toot in my music class. So I love this. Shake, shake, thump, thump, boom, boom, jingle, jingle, clunk, clunk, toot, toot.
Oh, that is cute.
So I love toot. Baby happy, baby sad. One about emotions. Tickle. Big kid bed. Boo. Mad, mad, mad. Huggy, kissy. Hair.
Oh my heavens, Carrie.
They're amazing. I know I have the potty one somewhere, but I must have used it recently. So, all right, guys. Or Laura, what do you have for us next?
Yeah, I'm like, shoot, I don't even know who we're on. Okay, here's another one from Ashlyn that was super effective. It was Monkeys on the Bed. 5 little monkeys jumping on the bed. Classic song, but also in a book form. So remember, guys, just like I told you with my Pete the Cat, I always like to try and choose a book where I can sing, because then I can be more animated and fun. And like Carrie said, the most interesting thing in the room. So definitely I can, sing Monkeys on the Bed and use the pause technique. And I did this a ton with Ashlyn. And I mean, really, like, again, when you hear Carrie and I talk, we go into our session with the targets that we want to target. So everything else is just a vehicle to get that done. So that's why I might not read the book the way I want to read it, like the way it's actually read. I might, though. There is a lot of times I choose this book because I want them to say, like, one fell off and bumped his head. Ow! And then I'll add the ow. So I might strategically choose that because of it. In Ashlyn's case, oh, Carrie, they're so cute. I can't stand it. Are her paws white again?
This one is Gordo. What did you ask me? Sorry.
Oh, I said, is her paws are white again, or his paws?
His paws, they were green because he walked in the freshly cut grass. Yeah. Here, let me grab the other one so they can say hi to you guys. Come here, baby.
Oh, they're so cute.
There she is.
Oh, my heavens, they're so cute. They don't even look real.
They look like lions because they haven't had their first haircut yet because they're too young. So we have to wait till May 19th. So their hair, because they have hair, not fur, their hair grows like people hair. And so we put bows in their hair. Hello, baby. And we have to brush them every day. They're very high maintenance, but I just love them because I don't have babies at home now. So these are my babies.
Yeah. That is so adorable. I love it.
Okay, sorry to interrupt.
So my story about Ashlyn would be, she actually, here's a little lesson. So I'm going to take you on a journey for a minute. So, you know, Ashlyn gets into the right kind of speech therapy. We start being able to get her to at least say one word, like CVs with consistency, which was huge, like to be consistent with it. And meanwhile, I was still reading her books a lot, using the closed procedure. So the way, or pause technique, whatever you want to call it. So the way I would start it would be, no more monkeys jumping on the, and I would want her to have some pop out with some approximation of the word bed. As time went on, this was one of her favorite books. As we kept reading it, I would use the pause technique and up the ante more and more. So instead of stopping before bed, then I'm going to stop with like, no more monkeys jumping on. And then I want her to try and say the bed. And then I might stop, no more monkeys jumping, and want her to say on the bed. So literally before, like right around the time she was actually combining 2 words in therapy and maybe getting carryover, she was able, and I have a video and I show it in all of my workshops because I was like, I'll always show it. Like, I was so proud. I was able to be like, Mama called the doctor and the doctor said, and I cue like, just start with this. She legit is like, no, Mama, and then she cues herself, and then she's like, diabetes. And she nails that whole thing. You guys, that is insane. Like, think about what I just said. She was only barely starting to combine 2 words in spontaneous speech. Like, how powerful having that, you know, in her motor plan, or not in her motor plan, just in her head. Because the more you read a book to a child, like the repetitiveness reduces cognitive demand because they know what's coming. So they don't have to like focus on understanding. They don't have to focus on, you know, what's going on. Like, they already know what's coming, which is what makes it so powerful. So definitely hands down, like the most powerful moment. And here's the lesson in that. I was so stoked. If you would have known my daughter and how she was speaking at the time, as I just said, that was humongous. I sent the SLP an email, and I said, oh my gosh, look at this video. This is amazing. Like, this is so exciting. And literally 5 days went by until the actual day we had therapy. And she wrote an email almost like, oh yeah, I see that kid today, and wrote me back and was like, oh, that's great. I love to see my clients make progress. Guys, like, if you're an SLP watching this, like I need you to be the coach, and I need you to be celebrating with me. Like, you need to be part of my team, not just your day job that you showed up on Tuesday and thought about Ashlyn. I'm sorry. Like, and I'm not saying she was a bad speech therapist. I'm really not. Like, I have to give her credit for taking Ashlyn from nonverbal to verbal. But I mean, it goes, anytime a parent emails, texts me anything, I am always going to come back with bells and whistles, because I know, and maybe Carrie, it's from being a parent like you, I don't know. But I just know that like every tiny little thing, and that would to me is not tiny, I'm sorry. Even if it was tiny, everything should be celebrated. These kids work so hard. And I thought the one person on the planet who would celebrate with me, and would understand would be the SLP. And instead it was just like, yeah, cool, love it when they make progress. Anyway, see you later.
That breaks my heart, to be honest with you. And it explains why I try very hard. I don't get to all of them because I get a lot of DMs on social media, you know, people messaging me. And I have this mom in Ireland, and she's very distraught because there isn't really a system over there for her young child to get services.
I know Ireland is just, I know I have some people too. It's just tragic.
And she has been messaging me, and she's very sweet because she doesn't write me a novel. You know what I mean? It's pretty quick to the point, but I do respond. And she just said, thank you so much for, you know, responding, for taking the time to respond. It seems, you know, like you really care. And I do care. I mean, I care greatly that your child isn't getting any services. You know, I mean, I care very greatly. And so I think that the one thing that Laura and I, and again, maybe it's because we both have children who have been through the therapy process, you know, and I don't know. But my hope is that if you're in a helping profession, that your ability to show care and concern and love and joy in the small achievements of, you know, and what I posted today, my social media post today, if you read it, I talked about how learning to talk is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And there is no really rapid progress that we see, especially with Apraxia. So what we have to do is encourage parents. That's what we are. We're encouragers, and we give them hope. When you talk about the small gains and how all of those small gains eventually equal a big milestone, what we are doing is giving them hope along the way. And I think that that is one of the most important roles that we as SLPs have, is providing hope, you know, for continuous gains. But I'm saddened by any SLP who would respond like that.
Yeah, it was, it definitely taught me a lot, because I expected her to be the one person to be excited with me, you know, so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So
All right.
Five Little Monkeys jumping on the bed was a big hit with Ashlyn.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And all my clients too. I mean, they love it.
I love it. So I'm going to follow up then with the other favorite that I have, which is Five Little Monkeys Sitting in a Tree. And what I love so much about this one is it goes back to the alligator who bites. And so this has just always been, you know, so 5 little monkeys sitting in a tree. And I always do this: tease Mr. Crocodile, you can't catch me, right? So that's where I'm going to pause, right? Along comes Mr. Crocodile. Snap, right? So that's that book, and I just love it. So even for my minimally verbal kiddos, because there's monkeys on every page, I might even just do vowel sounds. Ooh, ooh, ah,
yes.
Ah. I might try to add in, you know, like you're being a monkey. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. Ow. So those are all vowel sounds. And again, I just use the Silly Sounds cards as visual cues to get the kids looking at my mouth, you know, drawing them up here. So anyways, this is another great one that you can sing. You know, it's very repetitive. So I have a couple of the other ones, like 5 Little Monkeys Bake a Birthday Cake. I don't know. They're just not quite as effective. I feel like monkeys jumping on the bed and monkeys sitting in a tree are the only two that I've ever really found. But even though when I was on Amazon today, I was looking at how many there are. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like 5 Little Monkeys jumping in the tub. And I mean, all these ones. And I'm just like, oh, I'm going to stick with the ones I know work. So,
yeah,
you know, there might be some other good ones. But okay, Laura, what else you got for us?
Well, I wanted to read some comments real quick. Someone just said, I like this idea, quiet as can be with the sh sound and gesture, or with your sh silly sound card. Honestly, you have that too. That would be a fun one. Yeah. Okay, so another one I have. Let's see. This is a classic. A lot of Eric Carle books are repetitive in nature. But this is his very, very classic Brown Bear, Brown Bear. Oh, sure. I don't know. There's something about Eric Carle's books that children just love. I don't know if it's the simplicity, the repetitiveness, the pictures, maybe it's all of the above. I mean,
I think so.
Yeah, they really, really respond to them. And again, yep, like that's when I have all of them too. I don't have them here, but like I have like, you know, Panda Bear and Baby Bear, and they love them all. And I usually might use this to, I mean, I can use this in a variety of ways. The most typical thing I'll do is might be cueing me, because me tends to be, you know, we've got the M, which is an early developing sound. Great success using sign. So we were just having her, just because she was hesitant to speak, you know, brown bear, what do you? And we just did a modified C. Good. I see a red bird looking at. Yep, exactly. She is a rock star. I just came on last Tuesday, and I mean, her mom's reading it, using the pause technique, and this girl is like busting it out. It was like so awesome.
Yep.
But definitely me is a good one. I see a red bird looking at, and try and get them to pop out with me. So yeah, classic. I mean, really, and he has a bunch of different levels. I don't have it here, but I have like the Grouchy Ladybug, for example. Now that's a longer book. That's going to take longer to read. I'm not going to choose that for a younger kid. But by the time my kids are working on L, Ladybug is like awesome. L blends, it repeats. And she flew off. I might use that book for the irregular past tense verb, and every single time and every single page, she flew off, she flew off, she flew off. Prosody in that book, hey, you want to fight? I don't know. So Eric Carle books are great. I did choose Brown Bear though, since we're kind of, I don't know, I feel like we were talking about earlier stages.
I will just say, I always pick Brown Bear if the child's one and only vowel sound is E. Sometimes I've had a couple kids where they don't have you know, the neutral vowel. They have this E, and they're walking around going E, E, and everybody's like, I think he's saying eat. And I'm like, I don't think so. I think that's just his one and only vowel. Well, this is perfect then.
Yeah, because
you can add the two target words are C and me. E.
Yeah.
And so he's already got the vowel sound. So now what we want to try to do is motor plan and sequence, you know, the S and the M with that
Yeah.
sound. I just love, you know, I had somebody say, oh, well, the actual sign for C is this. Can I do that? And I remember saying to him, you know, I mean, you can, but you have to understand these are young children
Yeah.
with motor planning struggles. So I am always going to simplify any gesture so that the child
Same.
has success. One of the things we really focus on is simplifying the motor tasks so the child can experience success, because once the child experiences success, it builds their confidence. And I promise you, confidence builds competence. Okay, so if I can find a way for the child to have some success, see me, and we do it, it's every freaking page.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
why this book is worth $4 billion.
And Carrie,
that's why every SLP uses it. And so again, it's just, do SLPs have the ability, and do they take the time to explain why these books are so powerful, why we own $45,000 worth of books. I always say, if my house burned down, this is a lot of money going up in flames. Like, I need to insure just my children's books. So
yeah.
yes, I love Eric Carle. Okay,
People are saying here too, Hungry Caterpillar, all-time fave.
Oh,
Definitely, I have
all of
Hungry
them.
Caterpillar, and I actually
You
just
have
have
it
a
on the
sock puppet, and I cut a hole in the bottom. It was actually, I did this in the schools because I didn't have a budget, but all my kids still love it, so now it's in my private practice. But you can, like, I have these like little felt pieces that I have it for brown bear too. I have these little bags, but it's like little felt pieces, like, so it just adds an extra kind of fun like element to it. But with my Hungry Caterpillar, I take my sock puppet and we're like, and then you can, like, you know, suck it up into the hole, and then as like the sock gets bigger. I mean, so we talked about last week, Carrie and I were talking about, you don't need to have commercialized toys. You can always improvise. I mean, a sock puppet eating stuff is super fun, even if it was just paper of the stuff.
This doesn't have anything to do with repetitive speech, but I just ordered off Amazon
Are
all
those
the
the
characters that go with if you give a mouse a cookie.
Oh,
So there's if you give a cat a cookie. Yeah, if you give a dog a donut, if you give a moose a muffin. So I just love being able to, I didn't take them out of the package yet, but being able to have characters, you know, it gives the child something to hold, something to manipulate. And I just find it takes the pressure off of, sorry, I walked away. It takes the pressure off of talking. So when you remove the focus of, hey, I need you to talk, I need you to motor plan this and talk, and they're focusing on this, it's more likely they might actually have some success. I bought these. We have a local, I told you I like to buy local, and we have this awesome toy store in downtown Lee Summit. Lee Summit is a suburb of Kansas City, and I spend $100 every time I go in there. That's why I can't go more than once a month, because I found these, they're those like nesting dolls, you know, but it's for Goldilocks and the three bears. So again, these can come out and I can pair them. So I'm a huge proponent. If you follow me on social media, you know, I do a lot of posts of story props. That's what I call those. Those are story props. And it just allows the child to physically be engaged, because now they have something in their hands. It's not just a sit and listen activity. It's a let's engage.
And it's like they're playing, but you're playing with a book, and you're still promoting literacy and love of, you know, reading. So
yes.
Someone just asked, what was the name of that book, Carrie? They want you to go back to it.
I don't know. What book was it? What did I show you?
Well, I think, what did you show? Oh, wait, it was If You Give a Mouse a Cookie.
Oh, If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. Yeah, where did I even put all that stuff? Oh, here it is. Yeah, and I mean, this is not repetitive. Like, this isn't one I picked for repetitive. It's just, I was just showing that, you know, there's all these books by Laura Numeroff. If you give a dog a donut, if you give a pig a pancake. And I just had purchased these little characters off Amazon, which I just love. They're actually meant to go in the bathtub, you know, so they're like, you know, they have holes in the bottom. I never put these toys in water because they get mold up in there. They're gross.
Yeah,
like, I just play
know.
with them. I don't ever put them, but I just thought they were too cute, you know, so it was just If You Give a Mouse a Cookie. So
yeah, that's cute.
The one I want to share with you, and this is crazy because I don't even know what the story is about, but I have been using this for years, and I've never read the book ever, but it's called What Makes a Rainbow. And what I love so much about this and why kids love it is because it literally makes a rainbow as you turn the pages. Okay. So yeah, and again, I don't read the stories, but what I love it for is I've always, and I don't know why I've done this, but I've always worked with toddlers. I always say I've never worked with school age kids. I've never really worked with kids who actually talk. I mean, I'm always working with those pre-verbal, minimally verbal kiddos who are struggling to even find their voice. But with rainbows, I've always done, or anything like, you know, anything that's beautiful. I've always done, ooh, you know, that's just something. So that's one of my silly sounds cards. And so I have this whole bag, I should have grabbed it, of toys that are just rainbows. I have rainbow stackers, and I have rainbow erasers that we put in the muffin
Yeah, you
tin.
showed the rainbow erasers last time.
Yeah, so again, I don't read the book. The kids are fascinated because it really is like, ooh, you know, so you can do, ooh, red, ooh, orange.
That's fun.
Ooh, yellow. So anyways,
Well, at the same time,
it's
teaching
so ridiculous.
colors.
I have the huge version, I have the medium-sized version, and I have the small version of this book. My husband's always like, why do you need like 3 of the same book? And I'm like, I don't know, but I just do. So anyway, so that's what makes a rainbow. So I just think it's beyond precious. I love it. And again, when you're competing with the iPad and the smartphone, you need something sometimes that is intriguing, you know, that kind of gets their attention.
Yeah, I love
All
that.
right.
Okay, so let's see. On me, I've actually posted this on social media before, and I discovered this book from a client who said she could get her son to talk with this book only. And it was Little Blue Truck.
Oh,
So
yes.
I actually I'm not as well versed as Carrie in the book world. When you're, as Carrie can attest to, when you're just starting out with having a family, you usually, and you have a family now with a kid with special needs, you're broke.
Yeah.
You do not have money to keep buying therapy toys. So I didn't actually ever hear of this book. But anyway, once she read it to him, I was like in love with it because it's just fun. It does repeat, but it has a lot of sounds, and like kids like to repeat sounds. Even when therapists are doing language stimulation, which is not what we would recommend for apraxia, but even when they're doing language stimulation, we're trying to do interesting sounds to perk their interest and get them to repeat. So this book is just full of it. Horn went beep, engine purred. What did the horn do? And I just had Carrie's sound card because I do actually pair them. I don't know where it is, but I would hold. Oh, here it is. Beep. What did the truck do? It went beep, and see if you can get them to do it. And then all the animals are in this book, so it's super fun. There's, sheep said ba, cow said moo, oink said a piggy. And then I'll extend, it does just usually say beep said blue, but I'll extend it and be like beep, beep. And try and get them to pause and see if they can do beep said blue. So super fun. They have, neigh, quack, beep, and then the big dump truck honk coming through. Oh, you have it too. Do you have another one?
Yeah, little blue truck leads the way. So there's a whole bunch of these. So again, in every one of them, like here's the police car and here's my silly sound card. So just like Laura does. So any of the little blue truck books, you guys, they're golden. You know what I mean?
Fun. And kids love Laura, Little Blue.
We need to mention that because they are written in rhyme, aren't they? Yeah, they are. They're written in rhyme. It really helps with that phonological awareness.
Yeah.
Hearing which sounds rhyme and sound the same. So yes, definitely, you guys, put those on your list for your child's birthday or whatever holiday is coming up. So
yeah, and someone just said, they said they collected all the farm animals that are in the story. So that's what Carrie was talking about, using story props. Again, you can make it interactive. If your kid doesn't like a book, that's fine. Let's put toys in their hand. Put toys in their hand and be like, oh, can you find the horse? Where's the horse? Horse said, nay. Where's the horsey? And we can still play while we're incorporating books.
That's right. That's right. I love it so
much. Okay, you're next.
Okay, this is a really old book. I hope it's still available. I'm pretty sure I looked, and it's available on Amazon. But it's called Elmo Says Achoo. And again, of course, I have a silly sound card because as long as I've been a pediatric SLP for 21 years, I've been an SLP for 25 years. When I first got out of grad school, my thesis and everything was on swallowing disorders in geriatric patients. I was all about, I thought I wanted to work with.
That's shocking.
Yeah. So for my first 3.5-4 years, I worked in skilled nursing facilities with the geriatric population. I was primarily a swallowing therapist. And then I had my first child and I went, whoa, this language development stuff is like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like watching a baby from birth, like coo, and then start to, I was just blown away. And Clinton at the time was in office, and we don't need to get political here, but he slashed Medicare funding, and I lost my job in long-term care because all those big rehab companies went under because he slashed. Anyway, so I was basically unemployed, and I was like, well, crap, the only job I could find was in pediatrics. So I went to work for a speech and hearing clinic, and I always say, you know, what a blessing. What an absolute blessing that Clinton was in office and Medicare, you know, because I would have, I don't even know where I'd be right now. So I am so grateful. But anyways, as long as I've been a pediatric SLP, this has always been my #1 game for establishing joint attention, for becoming the most interesting thing in the room. And it's the chew game. And I've always just put a cup on my head. And the pause is because I'm waiting. Once I do this a few times, kids will start sneezing, right? They'll start doing it for me. But it's so funny because I had a physical therapist and an occupational therapist who were working with the same child that I was in early intervention. And they were so funny because at the meeting, they said, well, Carrie, we knew that you were the SLP on the team because every time we walk in the house, the kid puts things on our head, you know, because they want me to see. So it was like their favorite game. And this is a child who really had very poor joint attention, was not easy to engage. But I am telling you,
That's super cute.
You know, I love that Laura's laughing because when I do this in my seminar, all these adults just kind of sit and look at me like I've lost my blessed mind. And I'm always like, I know you guys aren't laughing, but I promise you, toddlers are. Like, they really think it's funny.
Oh,
so
100%.
I found this book, and again, it's 20 years old, I'm certain, but on every page, somebody sneezes, you know, or Elmo sneezes on every single page. So there the clothes fly off the line, and you can see, you know, what's going to happen if Bert's, you know, working in the grocery store, Elmo's going to sneeze and all the cans are going to fall down. So it's ridiculous, but it's beautiful, and I'm all about it. So I love Elmo says, cheers.
That's awesome. I mean, I think the biggest thing I could impart to people, there's two things, but not the biggest. Here's some 2 tidbits I've learned. One is kids love anything silly. They love silly. So if you can, by being the most interesting person in the room, you're going to have to like let down your guard and be silly. And I think this was easier once I became a parent, because before being a parent, you know, like, what was I? I graduated and I was a young 20-something, and, you know, you got to be professional and I got to act like the expert. And I was like, I feel like I was a lot of stiff-necked. But once I had Ashlyn, I was like, Ashlyn is not going, like, motherese is a real thing. Like, the way we talk to our babies and our children is a real thing. And that's what makes us interesting, is when we change our tone and we change our intonation.
Prosody.
Hi, baby.
Prosody.
And we have our facial expressions and we're interesting. And so it's the same for toddlers. If you're not a person if you're a person who you feel like that is unnatural, or like that guy told Carrie, like, do you ever feel, what did he tell you?
He asked me, are you embarrassed to do your job?
If you get embarrassed acting that way, you might want to choose a different population.
Right.
And I'm not meaning that to be mean. Luckily, our field has a lot of options. You know, school kids, I don't need to be that animated, but I'll tell you, when I worked in the schools, I gravitated to the severe needs program because it was the same thing in severe needs program. If I wasn't the most interesting thing in the room, these kids have multiple disabilities. I'm vying with literally everything else. So I had to be the animated dog and pony show, or I wasn't going to be effective in that setting. And I was gravitated to that population because I was effective, because I was animated. So anyway.
Right. Absolutely. Okay, so that was a 2. What do you have for us, Laura?
Well, this is relatively new. It's another Eric Litwin book, and he's putting out a lot of new ones lately. This is his Groovy Joe series. There's 2 of them as far as I know. This is his first one. This works so well for my kids who love dinosaurs. So I can totally hook them in with this book. You sing it. Ice cream too. Kids tend to like ice cream. So the minute you start talking about ice cream and dinosaurs, they're like, all right, what you got? Like,
what's the name of the book, Laura? Tell us the name.
Oh, it's Groovy Joe, Ice Cream and Dinosaurs.
And you guys, when you get the handout that I made, it's on there. All of these books so far that we've talked about are on this list, okay?
Yeah, so anyways, I mean, Groovy Joe saw something yummy, started rubbing his tummy, but I could use this book all the way for kids who are working on S-blends, because on every page, they're going to take out spoon. And so I can cue S-blends with spoon. But then he sings, love my doggy ice cream, love my doggy ice cream. Like, they love it, you guys, just with you singing. This is another thing I teach my interns. They are watching you even on the computer. If I just sit here and I'm not, like, even if I have the YouTube reading it or another book reading it, I am dancing. They are watching me. And that is such a testament to how a book can be interesting or not. Why are they watching me if I have YouTube up? It's because I'm the most interesting thing by dancing and being silly. So, you know, then here's another good one. Roar! So we get our big roar. I know Carrie's going to pull out a silly sound card.
Well, I have one, yeah.
I have it right here. No worries. I got you covered. Roar! So here's her silly sound for it. Get their mouth nice and
It's
big.
my favorite card of all time.
Oh,
I mean, isn't
gonna
he
be
the
fun.
cutest thing you've ever seen?
That one is adorable.
Yeah.
Love that. And then it says, oh no. So again, I might modify. Uh-oh. I might just have a kid putting their hand up, you know, to do the motion. A little dinosaur stomped into the room, pulled out a spoon, put on a bib, pulled up a chair. What did Joe say? This repeats too. It's awesome to share. So for my kids working on initial SH, not worrying about the vocalic R, share. I see Carrie giving me the...
And then by talking letters so that we can start with early literacy if they're actually working on that. I'm going to send you a set of these too, Laura.
Oh, okay. I'm so excited. You know, yeah, I'll use them because I do use all of these. And you guys
created a new alphabet so that if you're working on shh, you wouldn't show them the letter S because the letter S doesn't make the sound.
Right.
So I made a new alphabet that has the digraphs that has, you know, so I love it because when you're working with kids there, we should be concerned about early literacy because like Laura said, we have plenty of research, a lot of it coming out of Florida State University, showing that children with any type of speech sound disorder, whether it's CAS or tic disorders, phonological disorders, those kids are at risk for dyslexia, for reading disability. So it's really important that we think about using visual cues for supporting early literacy as well. So those are talking letters. So really, really awesome.
I love that.
Laura, I really appreciate you sharing that book because I don't have that. That's the one book I don't own that you have. So
yes, I have something you don't.
You know what I'm buying tomorrow on Amazon. Okay. Okay.
I have succeeded in life now that I have a book you don't have.
Laura, because it's almost been an hour, so we're gonna have to stop soon. I know. Can we do this? Okay. I know we always say this and then we make the decision, but guys, let us know. Can we continue this next week or do you just want to wrap it up tonight and do a different topic? So please, we honestly want your feedback this time because I have a whole stack of books we haven't talked about, but we can also be done and move on to something else. So you guys I'm going to do my next book, but you guys let us know if you want us to continue with books or if you kind of get the idea now and enough is enough, because I feel like it's one of those topics that Laura and I mean, obviously we could talk about for at least 2 hours because I know we have, and a couple people are saying, yes, please. So Laura, are you cool with doing it next week as well?
Yeah, I think that'll be good.
Okay. At least we can finish it up and then we can decide what we want to do. So I don't know if you know that Jimmy Fallon is an author, but
I have those
as a mother, and I'm sure Laura can attest to this too. When my son Aaron is now 16, Ashlyn is how old?
11.
So my son is a few years older, but my son, unlike Ashlyn, is autistic, and he has other diagnoses of apraxia and sensory processing disorder. And anyways, I really would like Aaron and Ashlyn to actually meet sometime.
I know.
I really think they would actually get along. My son, because of his autism, developmentally, socially, he prefers to be around kids who are younger, and by like 5 years, he does really good with kids who are 3 to 5 years younger than him. His peers, his 16-year-old peers don't get him and he doesn't get them. Like he doesn't really hang out with 16-year-olds, but he loves like the 10 to 13-year-old population. You know what I mean? He just really gets them. So I think it'd be so fun. Maybe you need to come to Kansas City, or maybe we need to get together sometime and get our kids together.
Fun.
But when Aaron was a toddler, the thing that was hardest for me is he didn't say mama. And I will just say as a mother, it's a little heart-wrenching. You feel like for me, it was, I was the primary caregiver for my son. I mean, just because I'm mom, you know what I mean? He wanted me to feed him. I breastfed, you know what I mean? So there's that. But when a child doesn't say mama, I've now recognized as an early intervention provider, that you know, when you pick your target words, what are we going to focus on? Based on principles of motor learning, we pick a few words, 4, 5, 6, you know, just a few words. And I always ask parents, does your child call you by name?
Same.
Meaning, do they call you mama or ma or
I do
mom
too.
or mommy? And when a parent says, no, I've never heard him say mama, that right there says to me, would you like him to be able to call you? Of course. I've never had a mom
always
say, no, I don't care if he ever calls me
Yep.
mama, you know?
Yep.
So this is my favorite book, you guys. And it just, the fact that Jimmy Fallon wrote it is like beyond, like, I don't know why it seems ironic to me. I mean, I don't know, he's a talk show host, you know, but so everything is mama, right? So on every single page, you're going to get mama as a repetition. Okay. And so this is, again, where you build that in over and over. I actually have a puzzle that has mamas and babies. I show it in my Apraxia course that I do, of how I use it in therapy. But I just love it that, you know, it's mama, mama, mama. And then, of course, he has your baby's first word will be dada. And isn't that the way it is? Like, you just want your kid to say mama, and the kid freaking says dada first. But so the cow, dada, moo. Right? So it's just kind of cute. Dada, bah. So they want them to say dada, and all they do is say the animal sound. But again, you see how few words, it's highly repetitive. To me, this is something, when I look at a book like this, I'm like, you know, you assume a speech therapist wrote that, you know, not Jimmy Fallon. Like, why would Jimmy Fallon write a book like that? So if you don't have the Jimmy Fallon books, and if your child doesn't say mama and dada, and again, if you're working with a family whose primary language is Spanish, you can change dada to papa. You know, you can use the language. Laura and I actually consulted with a family in Greece, and they said mama and dada are like opa and oma.
Yeah.
You know, so it's different. So again, you can, even if the books don't come in that language.
Exactly. You do not need to say mama.
Yeah, you can change it. You can make it relevant to your language. Okay. So huge fan. Thank you, Jimmy Fallon. These are some of my favorites.
I love those books too.
All right. Why don't you do one more, Laura, and then we'll wrap it up for tonight.
Okay, well, I have one then that's not on the list, and I couldn't believe I didn't include it when we were making this, but okay. I have every one of these known to man. So this is, there was an old lady who swallowed a shell, but I have all of these. I have them. There's one for every season, for every holiday, for every event. It like literally, I have all of these, and kids love them. I think, like, I just read it to the first time the other day, to someone who'd never seen one like this. And he's new to me, so I've had him for about a month and a half. But he sat there like, because they eat really crazy stuff. So like, this old lady swallowed a shell. I don't know why she swallowed a shell. She did until, again, I sing this. Singing dog and pony show, most interesting thing in the room. There was an old lady who swallowed a crab. A crab, ick. See if we can get yuck. Ew. Oh no. You know, like, they love silly. Yes, I'm being super silly. They love silly. And then at the end, it's always, I don't know why. So I like to tell people when I'm focusing on, well, actually for me, yes. But another thing you can do is carrier phrases. So if I want them to say, I don't know, using co-articulation, I don't know, because a lot of kids, I don't know if you found this, Carrie, but a bunch of my kids with Apraxia, they either get me stuck, like me no, or they get their name stuck. Like if their name is Jack, like Jack no, and it's like, no, I. And so the earlier I can like focus on starting with I really try to. So these books are awesome for that.
I love it. And can I tell you the cue? And I have two cues. One of them, it's in the therapy toy room, but I actually point to my eye.
Yeah.
And I literally, and I do oral posturing. This is my multi-sensory cueing. But if the child says me no, I'll say, and I don't even try voice to let him know it's a voice sound. I open my mouth wide to orally posture, and I always point to my eye. I know that seems weird, but kids get it. It works. When you point to your eye. I also have a wind-up toy. I did a post a couple days ago on one of my favorite toys is wind-up toys, and I have a giant eyeball that you wind up and it pops. And I'm not kidding you. I can get that thing out, and kids are saying I by the end of the session. It is so. The other thing are those big giant googly eyes that you can buy. Like
we were talking about that before. Slap those on anything.
Seriously, best mom ever. She isn't even a family that I worked with, a parent that I worked with, but one of my followers hooked her up with me, like said, you need to follow Carrie on Instagram or whatever. And this mom messaged me and said, I saw your ideas about the big googly eyes. And she sent me a picture of her lamp, and her lamp in her living room had giant googly eyes on it. And so every time her kid said, me do, she'd say, and so she would turn in the lamp, and the kid would go, I do it.
Yeah.
I do it. And her mom was like, it freaking works. I mean, it was so awesome.
That is awesome. I love that.
Yep.
Someone just said they're hot and cold on the old lady books. Like, I hear you.
See, this is what's weird is when you said that, I have 2 of them somewhere, and I was looking. I sometimes think I'm going to do a post that says, I know this sounds weird, but I'm not a fan of, I just don't get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's, I love books, Laura, but there's something about why does she keep eating? Does she have pica? Like, why is she eating all this stuff? Like, it just freaks me out. So I have never, and I'm being completely honest, I've never used the old lady books ever once in a therapy session.
Wow.
And it's so funny because most therapists love them. Do you know what I mean? Most like you, they're like,
them.
They're the best thing ever. And so when that person said, I'm kind of hot or cold on them, I'm like, oh, I'm with you on that. Because as I was looking for them, I know where all my books are except those 2. I'm like, I don't ever use them. I have them because I probably got them at a garage sale. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to own those because I'm a
Well, I will tell you, the one that freaks me out, there is one that I will refuse to use, and it is the original where it's like, I don't know why she swallowed the fly, perhaps she'll die.
Yes.
Definitely don't use that in there. I never use that one.
I just think it's weird. And to be honest,
we didn't even talk about dying.
About when you were like, he fell, or I'll tell, what was the word? I was like, he's going to go to hell. That's what I thought you were going to say. I was like, I don't even know what's going to rhyme with that. So yeah, whoever said that you're not a fan necessarily of there was an old lady, I'm there with you. And I know I'm what do you call, I'm the odd person out. Like, I know that's not common. Most people love them, but it is funny how we each have our few little books that we're like, I'm not too sure about that one.
I know. Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, kids are people too. So if I have a kid who's freaked out with a book like this, like I just told you, that one kid that sat there horrified,
yeah,
I am never going to choose one of these books for him again, even though it happens to be a favorite of mine and a favorite in my clinic. So, I mean, respect people. It's fine. We all have different opinions and thoughts. So,
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, guys. Well, we're past our hour, which Laura and I are very good at going past our hour. So we appreciate you joining us. I don't know. Laura and I are trying to figure out how we're going to keep doing this. So there may be some changes. So just kind of stay tuned. Laura and I are, I don't know. We're trying to, what is this, our 6th week, maybe our 7th week? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we love it. We hope you love it. We appreciate all the hearts and all the stars you're sending. Like, that is just amazing.
Yes. Thank you.
Again, this takes away from our family time, and you can tell that we love this. I hope you can tell that this doesn't feel like work for us, that we, my husband is playing darts tonight. He's like this professional, I don't know, he's like a professional dart thrower. And so I'm here alone home with my son, who is up in his room, and my puppies. And so for me, I don't know, I feel like Laura and I have only met in person. Is this right, Laura? One time?
Yeah, I think at that last Apraxia in-person conference.
And yet I feel like she's like one of my besties. I don't know. I
totally.
feel like I need to invite her to my house, and we need to swim in the pool, and I need Aaron and
have a life together. That would be amazing.
Yeah. I appreciate it. So I know Laura and I are both very appreciative of so many of you joining us. It makes us very happy to be able to, I don't know, to educate. One thing I said in my parent seminar that I did on Tuesday was the only way to empower an adult is to educate them.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And so that is the power of parent coaching, which I am a huge proponent of. And so the fact that so many of you join us, I mean, I don't know, there's only 100 or so left on here, but that's really pretty significant. I mean, we started with about 126, but I think that that's great that many of you care enough, to want to spend an hour with us. So Laura and I appreciate it very much.
Very much. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Take care. We'll see you next week. Okay. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Cheers. Absolutely. Cheers. I saw you drink nothing, Laura.
No, I did. I have my mom water.
Okay.
It's just my standard.
All right. Love you, Laura. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Bye.